All right, so we're going to go on to the General Ledger module. So we have 3 tabs when we go into General Ledger. So the first one is similar to the Business Vision Master Browser, where it shows you each of the groups, and then we give their totals of those groups. So we look at, say, for instance, the gross sales. We can hit the expand button, and we see each of the amounts of the sales in here. So in here, I can drill down, of course, to the transaction. I'll just briefly go in there because I'm going to show you the drill down shortly. Okay, this list is not sortable. It's because of the capability of doing this expand, but we allow you to do that from this accounts tab, so it's the same thing. So this is just really to look at a summary. It really gives you a quick picture of where you are for the year to date. Okay, under the accounts themselves, this is where you would edit accounts, but of course we do allow you to drill down into the accounts from here as well. And you can use filters. So I only want to see my expense accounts. I choose one of the filters that I created earlier. It just basically says where the type is one of expense, and I can put multi-ticks on here so I can look at, if I want to just look at, liability and assets, I can do that as well. Okay, but I save this one's expenses. Okay, and then back to the whole list. From here, we do allow you to sort this list, so you can sort by the balance to see everything in here. You can sort by and search for a word within in the name or the groups or anything like that to find something as well. Okay, and then in transactions, this is every transaction that's happened in the system for 3 years. So last year, this year, and next year. So every transaction is here, and again, it is completely sortable. So if I want to now find something within here, I can type something up the top here. So if I, for instance, want to search for a customer's transaction, I can type in the customer code, and it brings up every transaction that I did to ACE. So these are invoices, these are, looks like a payment, and any transaction, a layaway, a deposit order, all of it is visible from here. Or if I want to look at, say, a particular check number that I've written to a vendor, I can just, back to transactions, I can type in a check number. I got one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 7, 6, 6. So there's my check number. And you'll see here that for accounts payable, I can look at there. I paid it to Insight Sound, and again, I can drill down on it and see the whole transaction from here. And you'll see both sides of the transaction there. Okay, so it's very easy to search and find something. Or if I want to search for a vendor, I can type TXR, and I find all transactions to that vendor, purchase orders, purchase order closes, payments, everything I can find on that particular vendor. So very easy to find things within the system. Okay, again, filters come into play. So if I only want to see that's the filter set for accounts. Go back here. If I only want to see journal entries, so these are just general journal entries. So I've got here where the source is GL. Only payroll transactions. So this is just items that came through payroll. Sales orders, see those here as well. Accounts payable, accounts receivable. You can do basically any one source that are available to you, you can create a filter for those. For general journal entries, and when I've got this one called recurring that I created, so basically all this is recurring, is that the memo contains the word recurring. So notice here that I did a general journal entry for some things that come out of my bank account every month. So I've got a charge for bank charges, a bank loan, a car lease. So I can look at my recurring. But so this is not meant to be completely a reoccurring entry. You can use it as such, because from here I can go copy, post this now to next month, and then hit post, and that transaction gets posted. Or of course, if I do want to reverse it, I can hit the reverse button and do it as well. And then because some monthly transactions change slightly each month, you can't use the recurring module, because that's meant for entries that are exactly the same. In this case, it's pretty simple, because I can go down here and change the amount that I'm about to post to the GL by simply just changing my dollar amounts. Of course, it has to be balanced before you hit post, but then I just hit the post button and post that transaction. So it's very, very good for putting in, you create yourself a journal entry once for all your bank rec items, and then just basically go back to that one and duplicate it, change the date on it, and post it for the following month. All right, so now let's have a look at the accounts themselves. So we saw this is transactions for everything, well, except if I got a filter set. If I remove it, that's everything. If I go to an account now, and I say search for, or go to a, go to the expense account shown here, remove my filters. Okay, so that's all my filters gone. I can now pick up an account like sales. So let's find a name. Let's go to a sales account. And we'll go to sales handheld devices. I drill down to it. So this is the account. Here we have the transactions. Again, same as the information we saw inside the transaction tab there. But in this case, we are only seeing the transactions that belong to this one. So we get the same capability here. We get the same sorting capability, the same search capability, but it's limited now to the transaction that actually belong to the sales of handheld devices. We look at the balances. So this is the month-to-month changes and the month-to-month closes. So if I look at say June here and I drill down, we only show the June transactions. So if you're going through and you're looking at the first transaction, you're going through each transaction trying to find something, it stops when you get to the last transaction for the month. So that way you're not going through transactions thinking you're into the month of June where it's now gone into July. Okay, this is a little different than what Business Vision does now, because when you drill down to a month, it shows you from that month forward. We've done it this way for now. If we get any objections to the way we've done this, we'll put in an option if people truly do want to see from then onward. But for now, that's the way we've done it. The history tab, so we only got 1 year that's been closed. We go drill down in here, same information in here. I can drill down into a month. There's my transactions, all my searches. I can search through all transactions in history from here. So any month that I choose, I see all my transactions. And again, so I should go back into it, look at the transaction. If it's an item with a source like an invoice or a purchase order, again, I can view that source and credit it from here. But of course, it's not going to go back to history. It'll go to our current month or the date you chose that you're allowed to post to. Back to transactions again. So one of the things that people search for a lot in their transaction is the history of a purchase order. So if I'm going to go in here and I type in a PO number, so I'll put in 00003000297. So there is transactions that happen with that PO number on it. Notice we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different journal entries that happened. So the first one was a receiving that happened. The second one was a further receiving on the same PO, and another one, and finally the PO close. So this way, if you are investigating a purchase order, you want to see what you've all received for it. You don't have to go hunting around and searching the list for PO numbers to find it, because it's very easy to find. And again, if I double click it, I also view the source. Now when I hit the source on a PO that's been posted, you'll see that it's gone into the PO history. So if I now want to look at a PO that has not yet been closed, so I'm going to look at a source of 298. So here's a PO. You see there's a receiving been done on it. And I go into it and I say, yeah, that's the receiving. But if I view source now, it drills down to the purchase order in the purchase order module. So we'll see that it's not yet been closed. So instead of just saying that you've got a receiving, we allow you to go into it and have a look at the actual purchase order. And because the way BVEssentials is written, like every other module, when you drill down to something, you get full access to it. So you can actually come here and do a further receiving on this right from here if you wish. So this one's got 6 received so far, and I'll receive 6 more. And if I hit the receive button and I can post my reports, then I can now have a further receiving on that same purchase order. If I refresh this screen, that's actually I didn't post it, but that screen would show up here that I've now had a second receiving on that same one.